For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. When it comes to making a sitcom, character and story are the most important to develop. Sitcom characters often fall into a box. There's the dumb character we analyze by pointing out Junior from My Wife and Kids or Kim from The Parkers. Then there's the smarty pants like Steve Urkel, the sarcastic butthole like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince, and the materialistics we're all familiar with, Hillary Banks and Tony from Girlfriends. But there's one character who's never really part of the main cast, but everyone in the audience can identify with. The freeloader. You know, the next door neighbor that frequently comes over, goes through the fridge, borrows household items without asking, and constantly makes themselves at home to the detriment of who they're taking from.
What you doing up? I usually have a place to myself around this side.
They're the person who takes advantage of everyone else's generosity without giving them anything in return. All of the characters on our list seem to have the ability to do better for themselves, but choose instead to mooch off their more successful and financially stable friends. The rest of the cast is usually annoyed and fed up with the freeloader, and the fact that the freeloader treats their friend's home as if it was their own is played for laughs. They take time, money, energy, resources, and whatever else they can think of from their subjects, usually leaving them mentally and emotionally drained afterwards. Here's our list of the biggest freeloaders in comedy. Cole Brown. Cole Brown, played by Carl Anthony Payne III, is a childhood best friend of Martin, along with Tommy. Unlike some of the other characters on our list, Cole was gainfully employed as a jet cleaner at the airport and drove an AMC Pacer, but still managed to live with his mother. In the episode Baby It's Cold Outside, Cole tells Martin and Tommy how frustrating it is to be living with his mom after she caught him messing with Big Shirley in her house. Martin and Tommy in turn teach Cole how to stand up for himself. But that backfires when Cole's mother kicks him out and Cole decides to move in with Martin and Gina without asking first. His freeloading tendencies are on full display as he begins to overstay his welcome as the third wheel. He ruins movies, tells Gina she needs to go grocery shopping, and he even throws a party when Martin and Gina leave, which was the last straw that broke the camel's back. At this point, Martin and Gina are fed up with Cole's behavior.
You know what? I see why your mother threw you out, man. Yo, you're freeloading pain in the ass, and I'm only telling you that because I love you.
In the typical freeloader fashion, Cole's lack of respect for other people's property was the root of where all his problems come from. When he lived with his mom, he entertained guests without permission and did the same thing when he lived with Martin. Eventually, Martin told Cole he had to grow up, which spurred him to apologize to his mother, who then allowed Cole to move back in with her. It took a while, but Cole finally got the message to respect things that he didn't own and not to take advantage of his friends. Hakeem Campbell. Hakeem, who was betrayed by the late Lamont Bentley, was Moesha's friend, next-door neighbor, and frequent visitor. He was treated as another member of the Mitchell family, routinely joining them for breakfast at their house before the kids were at school and Frank and Dee went to work. The family's witty remarks toward Hakeem for coming to breakfast and questioning whether or not he had a home were always met with the audience laughter. And he constantly grabbed smoothies on a rain check from Andel's at the Den. He was the mooching neighbor to Moesha's stable middle-class upbringing. But later in the series, it was revealed Hakeem was actually at the Mitchells because he didn't have much at home. In the Hakeem owes Moesha big episode, he borrows $20 from Moesha. At the Den, Moesha talks with her friends, Kim, Niecy, and Sarah, where it's revealed that Hakeem has yet to pay any of them back. When Moesha confronts Hakeem, she finds out that Hakeem's mother was recently laid off, and they haven't been able to pay their light bill. As a result, Hakeem double downs on his freeloaderness and makes himself even more comfortable at the Mitchell's house. LYNN SEARCY. LYNN SEARCY from Girlfriends was played by Persia White. LYNN was Joan and Tony's college roommate. Although she comes from a wealthy family and holds 5 postgraduate degrees, LYNN was bohemian. She was a sexually liberated vegan musician before it was cool, ironically making her pot-smoking sensual nature and failure to earn a living of the source of her earned bohemian status. In the Declaration of Independence, Joan and Tony were fed up like Martin and Gina were with Cole, after discovering Lynn applied for another graduate program instead of applying for a job. At the time, Lynn had lived with Joan for 8 years and Tony for the last 8 months. But Joan and Tony, being good friends, gave Lynn another week to find a job before they cut her off completely. Joan didn't stay firm and employed Lynn herself, which caused her friends to give an intervention for enabling Lynn. At the end of the episode, Lynn ended up moving back in with Joan on a 3-month condition. But even that was extended, and Lynn wound up floating between different friends' places throughout the series, continuing to milk her friend's generosity. TRACY. TRACY from Atlanta, portrayed by Chris Davis, makes our list because he's a friend of Al's who initially asked to sleep on the couch for a week, but that 1 week turned into several months. The first time we're introduced to TRACY is at the end of the episode, Alligator Man. TRACY makes himself comfortable on Al's couch, and much like Hakeem, Bruh Man, and Cole, TRACY overstays his welcome and helps himself to food that isn't his.
TRACY, man, he got out today.
Yeah, what's up, man?
You staying?
Goddamn, is you the landlord or something?
However, unlike Lynn, TRACY isn't scared by the thought of getting a job. In his second appearance, he works on his waves just so he can debut them at his new job interview. Unfortunately, he bombs the interview and finds himself back on Al's couch for the remainder of the second season. On the surface, TRACY tried to better himself, but in true freeloader fashion, rather than admitting he's unqualified for the job because of his multi-year gap in his resume, he blames the hiring manager for being racist and not hiring Black people. Earn marks. Series creator, writer, and sometimes director Donald Glover plays the main character in Atlanta, Earn Marks. Earn finds himself living with his cousin Al, his girlfriend and baby mama Vanessa, and sometimes his parent, making him an obvious freeloader. Earn's parents don't condone his lifestyle after he dropped out from Princeton. Every time he visits, they know it's going to cost them some dollars, draining them both of money and energy.
You gonna invite me in?
No,
Why not?
I can't afford it.
Earn offers to manage Al in the first episode of the series as Al embarks on a rap career as Paperboy. But Al assumes, just like Earn's parents, that Earn expects a handout. Al hadn't seen Earn since his mother passed, so it seems like Earn only shows up when he needs something, once again exhibiting freeloader behavior. So what makes freeloader characters so funny? Their arrogant ignorance. Audiences cackle at the freeloader's shameless audacity that borders on childlike naivete. That's exactly why every freeloader who's actually confronted on their transgression acts are shocked to discover they're less of friends as much as they are a burden. Once Martin's living room window opens, you already know who's coming through. Whenever Bruh Man, TRACY, and Hakeem enter the scene, their first stop was usually the refrigerator. Joan and Tony always took care of Lynn as if she was their child, while the Mitchells always looked out for Hakeem, despite making a few slick comments. Without characters like Bruh Man, TRACY, and so many others, we'd be robbed of some of the best supporting and recurring characters in comedy. And the Freeloaders gets laughs just by being them. And don't worry, we didn't focus on Bruh Man because he's getting his own segment very soon. Stay up to date with the latest news in comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel and follow Comedy Hype across all social media. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.